I know this might come as a shock to you, but the truth is that if you haven't yet achieved the prosperity you desire, it's because you're still trapped in lies you've been told throughout your life. These lies aren't just limiting your potential, they're keeping you exactly where you are. And the worst part? Most people don't even realize these lies exist. They're so deeply ingrained in your mind that you likely believe them as though they were absolute truths. But today, I'm going to show you, without a doubt, how these misconceptions are keeping you in poverty, both financially and emotionally. I'm sure you've heard this phrase thousands of times: money doesn't grow on trees. Or maybe you've found yourself thinking, I'm just an ordinary person, where would I get enough money to live a wealthy life? That's exactly how most people think. And it's precisely why they remain stuck in a cycle of lack and financial hardship. They believe money is rare, something far out of their reach. But let me tell you a secret, that's a lie. Do you want to know the truth? Money is abundant. It always has been. What you lack is not money, but the right mindset to attract it into your life. Did you know there are people who started with almost nothing and built entire empires? What makes them different from you? They understood that money flows in alignment with your mindset. It's not about how hard you work, it's about how you think and how you relate to money. Let me give you a simple example. When you think about money, what is the first feeling that arises? Fear? Anxiety? Frustration? Many people fear money because they grew up hearing that it's hard to earn. That fear blocks the flow of abundance in their lives. They spend their days worrying about debts, bills to pay, and they miss the opportunities around them. Instead of attracting money, they're pushing it away. I understand, you might be thinking, but if money is so abundant, why don't I see it in my bank account? Let me ask you this, what is your relationship with money like? Do you treat it as something to control and restrict? Or do you see it as a tool, a form of energy that can work for you? The truth is, most people don't realize it, but the way we treat money says a lot about what it can or cannot do for us. Let me share a personal story that changed my life. In my early years, I also believed money was scarce. I was drowning in debt and thought I would never get out of that situation. But something inside me began to shift. I realized that instead of fighting scarcity, I needed to change my mindset to attract abundance. So, I began acting as if I already had the wealth I desired. I started visualizing my financial life differently, seeing money as a tool that could bring positive change into my life and the lives of others. And guess what happened? Opportunities started appearing. Prosperity flowed into my life, not because I was working harder, but because I had aligned myself with the idea that money was already available to me. Now, you're probably wondering, how can I apply this to my own life? Here's the key, you need to stop seeing yourself as a victim of scarcity. Money will continue to be scarce in your life as long as you believe it is. But if you change your mindset, if you start thinking in terms of abundance and possibilities, you'll begin to see the world differently. And money will begin to flow your way. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But believe me, this mental shift can be the difference between continued struggle and financial success. And I'm not talking about something vague or abstract, I'm talking about something very real. Throughout my journey, I've witnessed it happen all around me. I've met people who had nothing, yet with the right mindset, began building wealth. I met entrepreneurs who started with a small idea and, by focusing on an abundance mindset, turned that idea into an empire. So, what you need to do now is actually quite simple. Start treating money as a tool, something that exists in abundance, is available to you, and can help you live the life you truly desire. Stop being afraid to want more, to long for prosperity. That is entirely possible as long as you change your mindset and begin to act in alignment with it. Does it sound difficult? I know it does. But I'm here to show you that it absolutely can be done. I was once an ordinary person too, overwhelmed by debt, but I managed to turn my life around and create the life I had always dreamed of. And you can too. The only thing you need to do is take the first step, believe that money is not scarce, and that it is accessible to you if you know how to attract it. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and reflect, what is your relationship with money today? Does it feel scarce to you? Or have you already begun to understand that it is abundant and simply waiting to be drawn into your life? Think about it carefully, because the transformation begins right now. This is one of the biggest lies people believe: I need money in order to make more money. It sounds logical, doesn't it? After all, how can you invest or start a business without any capital? But here's the big secret: you don't need a large sum of money to start building wealth. What you truly need is the right mindset and the courage to take action. I know what you're probably thinking right now: that's impossible. How can I earn money if I have nothing to start with? Let me give you some good news: money is not the only resource required to thrive. In fact, if you know how to use your mind and your time wisely, you can begin to generate wealth even without money. This isn't just a theoretical idea, it's the truth, and I'm going to show you why. When you look at great success stories, you'll see that many of them began with people who had very little or nothing at all. Take Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, for example. When they founded Apple, they were working from a small room with very limited resources. They didn't have more than around £200,000, but they had a vision, a purpose, and most importantly, a mindset that told them if they used their time and creativity in the right way, they could build something far greater than themselves. They started with almost nothing, but with the right vision, they managed to build one of the world's largest companies. Now you might be asking yourself, and what about me? What can I do if I don't have capital? The first step is to understand that intellectual capital and social capital are far more valuable than you might think. When you invest in knowledge and build connections with others, you're creating something that can generate money in the future. Have you ever stopped to think about the value of your skills and knowledge? I'm sure you have something of worth to offer the world, even if you don't have any money right now. It could be your time, your effort, your ideas, or even your experience. I know it's hard for many people to believe that, because we were all raised on the idea that money makes money, and that in order to succeed, you need to start with a large sum. But let me tell you a story that may shift your perspective. A few years ago, a friend of mine wanted to open a small business. He had the idea, but no money. So, what did he do? Instead of waiting until he had the capital, he began looking for creative ways to get started. He used his knowledge, his connections, and his time. He offered free consultancy to some companies in exchange for experience and exposure. Little by little, he built a network of contacts and, through that, began attracting the resources he needed. He didn't need more than around £60,000 to begin, but he had the courage to take action with what he had. This example is important because it shows that you don't need to wait until you've got all the money in the world to get started. You can begin right now with what you already have. It might be a small idea, a skill you possess, or the time you can dedicate to learning something new. The secret isn't in how much you have, it's in what you do with what you have. Now, I challenge you to start applying this principle to your own life. Think about what you do have, not what you lack. What can you do right now with the resources at your disposal? Who can help you on this journey? What skills can you develop that might generate income for you in the future? Money follows your actions, not the other way around. When you begin to take steps forward, even with limited resources, you set the laws of the universe in motion. You're committing to action, not waiting. And in that moment, opportunities start to appear in unexpected ways. The more you act, the more the universe begins to align in your favor. And that's when you realize that money isn't the only resource you need, your determination and your vision are far more powerful. Here lies a crucial point: the fear of not having enough money to begin can be paralyzing. But I want you to understand that money comes to those who have the courage to start with what they already have. If you wait until you have all the capital, you may never begin. It is action that generates abundance. I know it's easy to feel anxious at the beginning and believe that nothing is going to change. But I promise you, when you start moving, doors begin to open. You'll reach a point where you'll ask yourself, why didn't I start sooner? Money will follow you, and before you even realize, you'll find yourself in a place you never thought possible. So here's my challenge to you: take a simple step. Choose one idea you've had, something you've wanted to do, and start today. Don't wait any longer. Use what you already have, your time, your knowledge, your connections, and begin. Success comes when you give yourself permission to take that first step without waiting for the perfect moment. Remember, start with what you have, and the rest will follow with time. One of the greatest lies ever told to people is this: money brings happiness. When you hear that phrase, what comes to your mind? Perhaps you imagine a luxurious lifestyle, a grand house, exotic holidays, and the belief that money can solve all your problems. But let me tell you something deeply important: money by itself does not bring happiness. I know this might sound like a shock, but the truth is that real happiness comes from the quality of life you create, and money is merely a tool to help you build it. Let me share a story with you. Jim Carrey, a well-known example of someone who achieved fame, financial success, and popularity, once believed that money would make him happy. He thought, if I can just reach that level, if I can earn that amount, then I'll finally be happy. But over time, he realized that even with financial success, he still felt empty inside. He found real happiness when he began to follow his passion, no longer relying solely on the idea that money was the answer to everything. He discovered that true happiness comes from doing what you love, not from obsessively accumulating material possessions. Now tell me, have you ever thought about this? Do you truly believe happiness is found in money? Or could it be something much deeper, something only you can discover by connecting with your true purpose? You might think I'm being idealistic, but believe me, scientific research and real-life experiences from people all over the world show that genuine happiness doesn't come from wealth. It comes from how you perceive life, how you feel about your purpose, your work, and the impact you have on others. When you begin to understand that happiness isn't in the things you buy, but in how you feel each day, in what you give to others, and in the peace you feel inside, that's when money starts to make real sense. It's no longer the goal, it becomes a tool to help you live the life you truly desire, do more of what you love, and reach more people with your message. So, what are you going to do now? Will you continue to chase happiness through the accumulation of wealth, or will you start focusing on what truly matters, on what makes you feel whole on the inside? I want you to ask yourself, what truly makes me happy? When you discover that answer, you'll realize that real happiness has always been within you, and that money will simply be a consequence of it. True happiness cannot be bought, and that's why you must never allow money to become your ultimate goal. It's only a means to reach what truly matters, your personal fulfillment, your inner peace, and the positive difference you make in the world. Once you truly grasp this concept, you'll find yourself walking a vast path toward prosperity, not only financial, but also emotional and spiritual. One of the most limiting beliefs in the world of money and personal fulfillment is this: you can't make money doing what you love. How many times have you heard that phrase? How many times have you felt pressure to set aside your dreams and passions because someone told you that you needed to do something realistic to achieve financial success? Let me tell you the truth, and it might shock you, that's a lie. You absolutely can make money doing what you love. In fact, what you love is exactly what will lead you to real financial success. Right now, you might be wondering, but if I do what I love, how will I earn enough money? Would people really pay me for something I genuinely enjoy doing? I understand that fear, I've been there myself. For years, I was told that the only way to achieve financial stability was to get a practical job, one that ensured a steady income, and that my passions were just unrealistic dreams. But the truth is, when you do what you love, you become incredibly valuable to the world around you. The key is to understand how to align what you love with the value you offer others. Most people spend their lives searching for something that makes them feel alive, but end up stuck in jobs they dislike, in careers that don't speak to their heart. That's what creates the cycle of dissatisfaction and mediocrity. Now imagine the opposite. What happens when you start following what you genuinely love? Not only does money come, but so does commitment, passion, purpose, and yes, financial success. When you love what you do, you naturally invest more time, energy, and creativity into it. That, in turn, creates opportunities for growth because you become excellent at what you do. Success is a direct result of doing what you love. Take Steve Jobs, for example. He didn't found Apple just to make money. He did it because he had a passion for technology and wanted to create products that would change the world. And by following that passion, he not only transformed the tech industry but also became one of the wealthiest individuals in the world, amassing a fortune of more than £21 billion. He followed what he loved and turned it into a financial empire. And he wasn't alone. Well-known figures like Oprah Winfrey and Richard Branson followed their passions too, and along the way turned them into businesses worth over £5 billion. They understood that money follows purpose and passion. Another powerful example is found in the culinary world. In the past, if you loved to cook, it was considered a mere hobby. But today, renowned chefs like Gordon Ramsay have built empires from their love of food. They started cooking out of pure joy, and now they earn more than £1 billion through restaurants, TV programs, and cooking apps. So if they could do it, so can you. The key is to realize that your passion holds the potential to become a thriving business. Now, let me offer you a simple exercise. Stop for a moment and reflect. What is something you love to do, but believe can't be turned into a source of income? What is something you do for free because you truly enjoy it? That's your first sign that it can be monetized. What you need now is to change your mindset around how money is made. If you can understand that doing what you love is not just possible, but essential to achieving true prosperity, you'll begin to uncover new business opportunities that could be far more profitable than any traditional job you've had before. So here's my challenge to you: for the next 30 days, dedicate more time to what you love doing, whether that's cooking, writing, teaching, drawing, creating content, or anything else. Use your knowledge and your skills and watch how the opportunities begin to appear. Money will start flowing to you as you commit to your passion. Never underestimate the power of doing what you love. Don't settle for mediocrity. Believe that what you love can become a profitable venture, and in doing so, you'll achieve true financial freedom. This is one of the greatest lies society has ever told us: work hard, and you'll succeed. You've probably heard this before, haven't you? I myself must have heard it thousands of times growing up. That belief that working longer hours, pushing yourself to the limit, is the key to success. But let me tell you something right now, and I want you to listen very carefully. It's not how much you work that determines your success. Success doesn't come from endless sacrifice or staying up night after night. What truly determines your success is how intelligently you work, how clear your goals are, and above all, how aligned your work is with your life's purpose. You might be thinking, but Bob, if I don't work hard, how am I supposed to achieve my goals? Don't I need to give more of myself? I understand that doubt, because it's a deeply rooted belief. But here's the secret: the notion that hard work equals success is an outdated mindset that limits your potential. What you really need is to work wisely and in alignment with what you genuinely desire. Many people believe that success equals exhaustion and hard graft, but the truth is that success appears when you learn to work more efficiently, with more purpose, and sharper focus. I'm not saying you shouldn't work hard, I'm saying it's time to start being more strategic. If you know exactly what you want to achieve and you craft a smart plan to get there, you'll move faster than someone who is simply sacrificing themselves without direction. Take Warren Buffett, for example. He often speaks about the importance of investing your time in learning and self-education in order to make better decisions, rather than just working non-stop. Buffett invested in knowledge, and that earned him a return of approximately £26 billion, far more than someone who's just grinding endlessly. And the point is, he doesn't work more hours than most people, he simply works more strategically. Now you might be thinking, but Bob, wouldn't it be better to be more productive and work more? Let me ask you this instead: have you noticed that the most productive people aren't necessarily working more hours, but are focusing on tasks that actually generate results? The key is to work with intention, intelligence, and focus, not just to stretch your hours longer. So, how do you put this into practice? Here's my advice: start spending your time on what truly matters, not just on what feels urgent. I know that often you feel under pressure, overwhelmed with a packed schedule. But being busy doesn't mean you're being productive. It's like the story of the man who spends all day chopping wood but never stops to sharpen his axe. He's working hard, yes, but he's not being effective. If he just took a moment to sharpen the blade, he would cut down far more trees in much less time. That's why you need to work with greater clarity and strategy, and focus on the things that will truly lead you to success. Success comes when you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve and a concrete plan to reach it. Many people fail simply because they don't know what they're actually aiming for. They have a vague idea that they want to be successful, but they never sit down to define what success really means to them. So here's a challenge for you: stop right now and write down exactly what success means to you. What do you want to achieve? What is your life's goal? When you gain that clarity, you begin to work far more effectively because you're focused on what truly matters. And here's the real secret: when you learn to work with strategy and purpose, success starts to show up. It's not about how many hours you work, it's about how you use your time and your energy. If your work is aligned with your purpose and your goals, then success will flow naturally to you. Remember this: it's focus, strategy, and clarity that will take you further than endless effort without direction. And now, I want to give you a challenge. For the next 30 days, take a little time each day to focus on what truly matters, on what will actually move you towards success. It's not about working more, it's about working smarter. If you follow that approach, you'll notice a major transformation in your productivity, and more importantly, in the results you'll achieve. The secret has never been in working harder, but in working with purpose, with wisdom, and with a clear sense of direction. When you begin to walk this path, success will come to you naturally. True success doesn't just arise from constant effort or hard work. Real success comes from how you direct your energy and mindset towards what genuinely matters to you. If you change your approach, start working in a smarter, more focused way, aligned with what you truly love, you'll notice that money and abundance begin to follow you effortlessly. Imagine someone who simply shifted their way of thinking. Instead of chasing opportunities, they began to attract them into their life. And all of this happened because they chose to pursue what they love and what aligns with their core values. Now it's time for you to take another step up on the ladder of growth and wisdom. In the next video, you'll take an even bigger leap and become 1% better than the person you are today. I truly thank you for being here and for giving yourself the chance to grow. I'll see you in the next video.